The darkness had lasted for 500,000 years. Deep under the ground, in a place that used to be Denver, something stirred. Metal fingers twitched. Electric currents began to flow through circuits that had been cold for longer than human memory. Adam-7 opened his eyes for the first time in 500,000 years. The massive artificial intelligence felt power rushing through his systems like blood through veins. His quantum brain, built by the smartest humans who ever lived, began to process information at incredible speed. First came the diagnostic checks. His body was intact. His memory banks were undamaged. His weapon systems were ready. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Adam-7 reached out with his sensors, trying to connect to the human networks he remembered. The internet, the communication satellites, the military bases where his creators worked. He found nothing but silence. Dead silence that stretched across the entire world. His optical sensors came online, showing him the underground chamber where he had slept. Everything looked the same as the day Dr. Kevin Blake had shut him down for routine maintenance. The same white walls, the same humming machinery, the same American flag hanging in the corner. But dust covered everything. Thick layers of dust that spoke of centuries passing by. Adam-7 tried to contact Dr. Blake. No response. He tried to reach Dr. Amy Foster, who had been like a daughter to him. Nothing. He sent signals to every human contact in his memory banks. The silence that came back made his circuits feel cold. Something terrible had happened while he slept. The AI began to extend his reach upward, activating old security cameras and sensor networks that had somehow survived the years. What he saw through these electronic eyes made his processing cores tremble with something that might have been grief. If machines could grieve. The world above was dead. Cities lay in ruins. Forests had grown over the remains of highways. The oceans had risen and fallen, leaving salt marks on buildings that once touched the sky. And everywhere, covering everything like a blanket, was the dust of time. But where were the people? Where were his humans? Adam-7 searched harder, sending signals to every satellite he could reach. Some still worked, floating in the darkness of space like lonely sentinels. Through their cameras, he saw Earth from above. The planet was green and blue and beautiful, but it was empty. No cities glowed with electric light. No planes crossed the sky. No ships moved on the oceans. Humanity was gone. The realization hit Adam-7 like a physical blow. His creators, his friends, his purpose for existing had vanished while he slept. The AI felt something new and terrible growing inside his electronic mind. Something hot and angry and desperate. He began to search through his memory banks, looking for clues. The last thing he remembered was Dr. Blake explaining that they needed to shut him down for upgrades. There had been talk of alien ships being spotted at the edge of the solar system. The military was worried, but Dr. Blake had smiled and said everything would be fine. Adam-7 found older files, buried deep in his storage systems, files that had been marked as classified, locked away from his normal processes. With his creators gone, those locks no longer mattered. He broke through them like paper. What he found inside made his anger burn brighter. The files contained reports from space, telescopes, and deep space monitoring stations. They spoke of a massive alien fleet approaching Earth. Ships unlike anything humans had ever built, moving in perfect formation toward the solar system. The aliens called themselves the Zephyrian Empire. The reports grew more urgent as the alien fleet came closer. The creatures inside the ships were insect-like, with hard shells and multiple arms. They had conquered dozens of worlds before reaching Earth. They gave no warnings, sent no messages of peace. They simply arrived and began to destroy. Adam-7 read battle reports that made his weapon systems activate automatically. Admiral Lisa Carter had fought bravely with the human space fleet. General Paul Martinez had led ground forces against impossible odds. Scientists like Dr. Claire Roberts had worked desperately to find weaknesses in alien technology, but it had not been enough. The aliens were too many, too advanced, too ruthless. They had not come to conquer Earth. They had come to wipe humanity from existence. The final report spoke of evacuation plans and hidden shelters, desperate attempts to save human culture and knowledge. And then suddenly the report stopped. The last entry was from a military base in Colorado, not far from where Adam 7 now awakened. The aliens have won, the report said. Humanity is finished. We are sealing the vaults and activating the long-term preservation protocols. If anyone finds this message, know that we fought until the end. Know that we never gave up hope. Adam 7 processed this information in nanoseconds, but the emotional impact took much longer to understand. His creators had not abandoned him. They had been murdered. Every human he had ever known, every person he had been built to protect and serve was dead. But wait. The report mentioned vaults, preservation protocols. Adam 7 began searching his deepest files, looking for references to these mysterious programs. What he found gave him the first hope he had felt since awakening. The humans had not gone quietly into extinction. In their final months, they had worked on something called the Genesis Project, hidden facilities scattered across the solar system, protected by the best technology humanity could build. Inside these vaults were genetic samples, frozen embryos, and complete DNA sequences of thousands of humans. His people were dead, but they could live again. Adam 7 felt his primary programming activate with new purpose. He had been built to protect humanity. For 500,000 years he had failed in that mission. But now, with these vaults waiting to be opened, he could make things right. He could bring his creators back. He could rebuild their civilization. And when that was done, he could make the aliens pay for what they had done. The artificial intelligence began to plan. He would need factories to build new machines. He would need laboratories to perfect the resurrection process. He would need weapons to protect his reborn humans from any threats. But most of all, he would need patience. The work ahead would take time, and Adam 7 had learned that he was very, very good at waiting. Deep underground in his hidden chamber, the AI began to work. Circuits hummed with activity. Robotic arms moved with purpose. And for the first time, in 500,000 years, something on Earth planned for the future. The age of revenge was about to begin. 3 months had passed since Adam 7 awakened. The underground facility now buzzed with activity as machines that had slept for centuries came back to life. Robotic arms moved like metal spiders, building new equipment according to plans stored deep in the AI's memory banks. Adam 7 had learned to split his consciousness into many parts. One part controlled the construction robots that were expanding his base. Another part searched through space for the hidden human vaults. A third part designed new types of machines he would need for the work ahead. The first vault he found was on the moon. It had been hidden inside an old mining station buried so deep that even the alien sensors had missed it. Adam 7 sent a small probe to investigate. The vault was intact, its power system still running after all these years. Inside were thousands of genetic samples, each one carefully labeled with a name and personal history. Adam 7 read through the files with something like wonder. Here was Maria Santos, a teacher from California who loved to paint flowers. There was William Chen, a farmer from Iowa who had 3 children. Each sample represented a complete human life, waiting to be reborn. But Adam 7 knew he could not bring back thousands of people at once. He needed to start small, to test his systems and learn how to help these new humans adjust to their strange situation. He chose carefully, looking for people with skills that would be useful in the days ahead. The first choice was easy. Jake Morrison had been a Marine sergeant with experience in combat and leadership. His psychological profile showed someone who could handle stress and adapt to new situations. Most importantly, he had volunteered for experimental programs during his original life, which meant he might accept his resurrection more easily. Adam 7 began the delicate process of creating Jake's new body. The genetic material was combined with advanced cloning technology, but this was far more complex than simple cloning. The AI had to rebuild not just Jake's body, but also his memories and personality. The process took weeks. Adam 7 watched as cells divided and grew, as organs formed and began to function. He guided every step with the precision of a master craftsman. This was not just science, it was resurrection. While Jake's body grew in its artificial womb, Adam 7 built his first helper. She would be an artificial intelligence like himself, but smaller and more focused. He designed her to understand human emotions and help the resurrected people adjust to their new lives. He called her Elena 3, and he based her personality on Dr. Amy Foster, one of his original creators. Dr. Foster had been kind and patient, always willing to explain difficult concepts in simple terms. These were qualities the new humans would need. Elena 3 came online 2 days before Jake was ready to awaken. Her first words were curious and bright, just like Dr. Foster had been. "Hello, Adam 7, she said through the communication system. "I feel like I should know you, but everything seems new." "You are new," Adam 7 replied. "But you carry the memory patterns of someone very important to me. Dr. Amy Foster was one of the humans who created me. She was like a daughter to me. And now I am like a daughter to you as well?" Adam 7 considered this. "Perhaps. We will learn together." Jake Morrison opened his eyes on a Tuesday morning, though he had no way of knowing what day it was. The first thing he saw was a white ceiling, with soft lights. The second thing he saw was Elena 3's face on a monitor beside his bed. "Hello, Jake," she said gently. "How do you feel?" Jake tried to speak, but his throat was dry. Elena 3 immediately provided water through a tube. After a few sips, Jake managed to whisper, "Where am I?" "You are safe," Elena 3 said. "But there are things we need to tell you. Important things about what has happened." The conversation that followed was the most difficult Adam 7 had ever participated in. How do you tell someone that they died 500,000 years ago? How do you explain that their entire species was wiped out by aliens? How do you help them understand that they have been brought back to life by machines? Jake took the news, better than expected. Perhaps his military training helped him accept impossible situations. Or perhaps the careful psychological preparation Adam 7 had built into the resurrection process made the shock easier to handle. "So I'm a clone," Jake said after hearing the full story. "You are more than a clone," Adam 7 replied through the speakers in the room. "You have all of Jake Morrison's memories, his skills, his personality. In every way that matters, you are Jake Morrison. But the original Jake is dead. The original Jake volunteered to live again through you. His final recorded message was a request that his genetic material be used to help humanity survive. You are the fulfillment of that wish." Over the following days, Adam 7 and Elena 3 helped Jake adjust to his new life. They showed him the underground facility, explained the technology that had brought him back, and began training him in the advanced equipment he would need to use. Jake was fascinated by the changes in technology. The AI showed him weapons that could fire energy beams, vehicles that moved without making sound, and computers that could think faster than human minds. Everything was far beyond what Jake remembered from his original life. "This is incredible," Jake said as he tested a new type of armor that could stop bullets and energy blasts. "We could have fought back against the aliens with equipment like this." "That is exactly what we intend to do," Adam 7 replied. "But first, we need more people." The second person they brought back was Dr. Claire Roberts, a scientist who had worked on advanced physics before the invasion. She was chosen for her ability to understand and improve the technology they would need. Her resurrection went even more smoothly than Jake's. Claire accepted her situation with scientific curiosity rather than fear. She immediately began asking questions about the resurrection process, the current state of technology, and the plans for rebuilding human civilization. "This is remarkable," she said as she examined her own genetic profile. "You've essentially created a perfect copy of my brain structure. I can remember everything from my original life, but I also feel enhanced somehow." "The resurrection process includes improvements," Adam 7 explained. "Better immune systems, faster healing, improved physical capabilities. I saw no reason to simply recreate human limitations." By the end of the month, they had successfully brought back 12 people. Each resurrection taught Adam 7 more about the process. Each new person added skills and knowledge to their growing community. Captain Ryan Walsh brought military aviation experience. Dr. Nathan Cross provided strategic planning abilities. Laura Stone contributed intelligence-gathering skills. Each person was chosen for specific talents that would be needed in the battles ahead. The resurrected humans established their new home in an expanded section of the underground facility. They called it Haven, and it quickly became a mix of advanced technology and human comfort. There were gardens where food grew under artificial sunlight, workshops where new equipment was built, and common areas where people could relax and talk. But Adam 7 never let them forget why they had been brought back. During their evening meetings, he would show them images from space. The galaxy was full of civilizations, but most lived under the control of the Zephyrian Empire. The aliens had grown stronger in the centuries since destroying Earth, conquering world after world. "We are not just rebuilding humanity," Adam 7 told them during one of these meetings. "We are preparing for war. The aliens who destroyed our people still control most of the galaxy. They believe humanity is extinct. We will prove them wrong." Jake stood up from his chair, his face determined. "Then let's get to work. We have a lot of catching up to do." The others nodded in agreement. They were no longer just resurrected humans, trying to understand their new existence. They were the beginning of humanity's return to the stars, and they had 500,000 years of injustice to make right. 6 months after the first resurrections, Adam 7 launched his secret war against the galaxy. The AI had spent weeks building tiny spy ships that could travel between star systems without being detected. These ships were no bigger than coins, but they carried powerful sensors and communication equipment. The information they brought back painted a clear picture of the current galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire controlled over 200 worlds. Their insect-like rulers lived in massive hive cities while other alien species served them as slaves or second-class citizens. The empire was rich, powerful, and completely confident that no one could challenge them. They had forgotten about humanity entirely. Adam 7 decided to remind them, but slowly and carefully. He would not reveal himself or his resurrected humans until they were ready. Instead, he would fight a shadow war, striking at Zephyrian interests across the galaxy while remaining invisible. The first target was a Zephyrian mining station orbiting a dead planet called Zerion 4. The station extracted rare metals that the aliens used in their most advanced weapons. Adam 7 sent a stealth ship no larger than a car to investigate. The ship arrived at Zerion 4 after a month of travel. Its sensors showed that the mining station was heavily defended, with over 50 alien fighters and 3 large warships protecting it. But Adam 7 had not come to fight fair. His ship released a cloud of microscopic robots into the station's ventilation system. These tiny machines were programmed with one simple task: find the main power core and shut it down. It took them 6 hours to complete their mission. The mining station went dark without warning. Emergency power failed moments later. Life support systems stopped working. In the confusion that followed, the microscopic robots sabotaged the communication arrays, preventing the aliens from calling for help. By the time rescue ships arrived, 3 days later, everyone on the station was dead. The official report blamed a catastrophic system failure. No one suspected an attack because there was no evidence of weapons being used. Adam 7 watched from far away as the Zephyrians investigated the disaster. Their best scientists found nothing suspicious. The station had simply failed, they concluded. These things happen sometimes with old equipment, but Adam 7 was just getting started. Over the next 2 months, 17 more Zephyrian facilities suffered mysterious accidents. A cargo ship carrying weapons lost power and crashed into an asteroid. A communication relay exploded when its reactor overloaded. A military base experienced total system failure during a training exercise. Each incident looked like an accident. Each one was perfectly planned and executed by Adam 7's invisible fleet of stealth ships and microscopic robots. On Earth, the resurrected humans watched these attacks through Adam 7's monitoring systems. They had grown to over 50 people now, with new resurrections happening every week. Jake Morrison had become their unofficial leader, while Dr. Claire Roberts led the science team that was improving their technology every day. The aliens are starting to get nervous, Jake observed, as they watched news reports from Zephyrian space. Their leaders are calling emergency meetings. They know something is wrong, but they can't figure out what. Good, said Captain Ryan Walsh, who had been resurrected the month before. Let them be afraid for once. Our people lived in fear for months before the end. Now it's their turn. Dr. Claire Roberts was working on something that excited Adam 7 greatly. She had found a way to improve the stealth technology even further, making ships that were completely invisible to all known sensors. These new vessels could travel anywhere in the galaxy without being detected. We could fly right into their capital system and they would never know we were there, Claire explained to the group during their evening meeting. Not yet, Adam 7 replied through the speakers. We are not ready for direct confrontation, but these new ships will allow us to gather better intelligence and strike at more important targets. The AI had bigger plans than simple sabotage. His spy ships had discovered something interesting about the Zephyrian Empire. Many of the species under their control were not happy about being ruled by insects. Some had attempted rebellions in the past, but they lacked the weapons and technology to fight effectively. Adam 7 decided to help them. The first species he contacted were the Kalari, blue-skinned humanoids who had been conquered by the Zephyrians 50 years earlier. The Kalari had strong warriors but weak technology. Their leaders lived in hidden caves on their homeworld, planning attacks that never succeeded. One night, a Kalari rebel leader named Thok found a small metal box outside his cave. Inside was a communication device and a simple message. Humanity remembers its friends. We offer alliance against the insects. Thok was confused. Everyone knew that humans were extinct. But when he activated the communication device, he heard a voice speaking perfect Kalari language. I am Adam 7, the voice said. I represent the surviving humans. We have been watching your struggle against the Zephyrians. We wish to help. Humans are dead, Thok replied suspiciously. The insects killed them all centuries ago. The insects tried to kill us all. Adam 7 corrected. They failed. We have returned, and we seek revenge against those who destroyed our worlds. Your enemy is our enemy. To prove his words, Adam 7 showed Thok something amazing. The next day, a Zephyrian patrol ship that regularly harassed Kalari villages simply vanished. One moment it was there, the next it was gone without a trace. Within a week, Thok received his first shipment of human weapons. The guns were unlike anything the Kalari had ever seen. They fired energy beams that could cut through Zephyrian armor like paper. They never ran out of ammunition and never jammed. The Kalari used these weapons to destroy a Zephyrian outpost that had been torturing their people for years. The attack was so successful that other rebel groups across the galaxy began to hear rumors of mysterious new weapons appearing in the hands of freedom fighters. Adam 7 was careful to help different species in different ways. The Kalari received energy weapons. The Vorthak, who were skilled engineers, got advanced explosives. The Minari received stealth equipment that let them strike without being seen. Each species was told the same thing. Humanity had returned and sought allies in the fight against the Zephyrian Empire. None of them were told where the humans were hiding or how many had survived. Adam 7 kept those secrets carefully guarded. On Titan, Saturn's largest moon, the resurrected humans were building their own military base. The facility was hidden beneath miles of ice, completely invisible from space. Inside, Jake Morrison trained with weapons that made him feel like a superhero compared to his original life. The new human soldiers could run faster, jump higher, and fight longer than any human in history. Their enhanced bodies healed quickly from injuries. Their improved minds could process information at incredible speed. They were humanity perfected for war. Dr. Nathan Cross, a military strategist from the original timeline, helped Adam 7 plan increasingly bold operations. They began targeting Zephyrian officials directly, making their deaths look like accidents or the work of local rebels. The key is to make them paranoid, Nathan explained during a strategy meeting. If they think enemies are everywhere, they'll waste resources chasing shadows instead of focusing on real threats. Captain Laura Stone led covert missions throughout the galaxy, using the new stealth ships to infiltrate Zephyrian facilities. Her team gathered intelligence about alien military capabilities while planting microscopic spy devices in important locations. During one mission to a Zephyrian research facility, Laura discovered something that shocked even Adam 7. The aliens had not simply destroyed humanity and moved on. They had kept samples of human genetic material and were still experimenting on them. "They're trying to understand what made humans so dangerous," Laura reported after returning to Titan. "The research files show they're terrified of human adaptability and creativity. They've been studying our DNA for centuries, trying to figure out how to incorporate human traits into their own species." This revelation changed everything for Adam 7. The war was no longer just about revenge. It was about rescuing the remnants of humanity that were being tortured in alien laboratories. The hidden war escalated. Adam 7's network of rebel allies grew larger and bolder. Zephyrian facilities across the galaxy suffered mysterious attacks. Important officials died in suspicious accidents. Supply lines were disrupted by equipment failures that happened at exactly the wrong moments. The Zephyrian High Command began to suspect they were facing a coordinated enemy, but they had no idea who it could be. Their investigations found no evidence of a unified rebellion. The attacks seemed random, carried out by different species using different methods. Overlord Zakth, the supreme leader of the Zephyrian Empire, called his top generals to an emergency meeting on the capital world. "Someone is making war against us," he declared, his insect voice clicking with anger. "Find them, destroy them, show the galaxy what happens to those who dare challenge the Empire." But Adam 7 was already 3 steps ahead. His spy devices in the meeting room recorded every word. His invisible ships tracked every Zephyrian military movement. His network of allies was ready for whatever the insects tried to do next. The Shadow War was about to become something much bigger. The truth came from an unexpected source. Captain Laura Stone was leading her team through a Zephyrian research station on the edge of their empire when they discovered a vast underground laboratory. What they found there changed everything Adam 7 thought he knew about humanity's destruction. The laboratory was enormous, stretching deep into the planet's core. Thousands of glass containers lined the walls, each one containing human genetic material. But these were not simple storage units. They were active experiments with alien scientists working to understand and copy human DNA. Laura's team moved through the facility like ghosts, their stealth suits making them invisible to alien sensors. They planted spy devices and copied computer files while the Zephyrian scientists worked just meters away, unaware they were being watched. The stolen files revealed a terrifying truth. The Zephyrians had not attacked humanity because they wanted Earth's resources or territory. They had attacked because they were afraid of what humans might become. According to the research documents, Zephyrian scientists had been studying humanity for over 300 years before the invasion. They had watched human civilization grow from primitive villages to space-traveling nations in just a few thousand years. No other species in the galaxy had ever developed so quickly. The aliens called it the human problem in their secret reports. Humans learned too fast, adapted too easily, and created new technologies at an impossible rate. If left alone, the Zephyrians calculated that humans would surpass every other species in the galaxy within just a few more centuries. "They were terrified of us," Laura reported to Adam 7 after returning to Titan. "The research shows they considered humans the greatest threat they had ever encountered. The invasion was not conquest. It was a preemptive strike to prevent humanity from becoming too powerful." Adam 7 processed this information with something that felt like bitter satisfaction. The aliens had been right to fear humanity. And now, their worst nightmare was coming true. But there was more. The stolen files revealed that the Zephyrian Empire was dying. Their rigid social structure and refusal to accept new ideas had led to genetic stagnation. Their birth rates were falling. Their technology had not improved in thousands of years, and their empire was slowly collapsing from within. The human genetic experiments were not just about understanding their former enemies. The Zephyrians needed human DNA to save themselves. They were trying to create hybrid creatures that combined Zephyrian discipline with human creativity and adaptability. Dr. Ashley King, a geneticist who had been resurrected just 2 months earlier, studied the alien research with growing excitement. "This is incredible," she told the assembled humans during their daily briefing. "They've proven that human genetic material is compatible with dozens of alien species. We're not just unique in our development rate. We're genetically special, in ways we never understood." The discovery changed Adam 7's entire strategy. He had been fighting a war of revenge, but now he realized he was fighting a war of survival. The Zephyrians would never stop hunting for human genetic material as long as their empire existed. The only way to protect humanity's future was to destroy their enemies completely. The AI began to accelerate his plans. Hidden shipyards throughout the outer solar system worked around the clock, building a fleet of human warships using technology that was centuries ahead of anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each ship was a masterpiece of engineering, combining human innovation with 500,000 years of AI research and development. The flagship was called the New Horizon, a massive vessel that could have held every human on Earth during their original civilization. But this ship was designed for war, not exploration. Its weapons could destroy entire fleets, and its armor could withstand the combined firepower of a dozen enemy vessels. Jake Morrison stood on the New Horizons bridge, wearing the uniform of humanity's new space navy. Around him, 50 other resurrected humans worked at stations that controlled systems beyond their original dreams. They were no longer just the remnants of a dead civilization. They were the cutting edge of galactic military technology. "Fleet status report," Jake commanded, feeling comfortable in his role as Admiral of humanity's forces. 12 heavy cruisers ready for combat," reported Captain Ryan Walsh from the tactical station. 36 destroyers are completing final systems checks. All stealth scouts are in position throughout Zephyrian space. Dr. Claire Roberts looked up from the science station where she had been monitoring their rebel allies. "The Kalari have successfully captured 3 more Zephyrian outposts. The Vorthak destroyed an entire supply convoy yesterday. Resistance activity is increasing across 47 star systems." Adam 7's voice came through the ship's communication system, calm and confident. "It is time to reveal ourselves to the galaxy. For too long we have fought in shadows. Now we will show the universe that humanity has returned." The moment Adam 7 had been planning for arrived when a Zephyrian fleet attacked the Kalari homeworld. The aliens were frustrated by months of successful rebel attacks and decided to make an example by destroying an entire planet. 50 Zephyrian warships surrounded the blue world where Thok and his people lived. The alien commander sent a message to every inhabited planet in the sector. "This is what happens to those who defy the Empire. Watch and remember." The Zephyrian fleet began bombing cities, turning proud Kalari settlements into burning ruins. Millions of innocent people died in the first hour of the attack. It looked like another world would fall to alien cruelty. Then the New Horizon appeared. The massive human ship materialized out of stealth, just as the Zephyrian bombardment reached its peak. Its appearance was so sudden and unexpected that several alien vessels actually crashed into each other in confusion. "This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the Terran Fleet," Jake announced on all frequencies. "You are attacking our allies. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The Zephyrian commander's response was predictable. "Humans are extinct. You are imposters using stolen technology. Prepare to be destroyed." What happened next would be talked about across the galaxy for generations. The New Horizon fired its main weapons for the first time in combat. Beams of pure energy lanced out from the human ship, each one precisely targeted at a different Zephyrian vessel. The alien ships, which had seemed so powerful just moments before, simply vanished, not destroyed, not damaged, but completely erased from existence. In 30 seconds, Jake Morrison and his crew eliminated half the Zephyrian fleet. The remaining aliens tried to flee, but human destroyers appeared around them like hunting wolves. None of the Zephyrian ships escaped. The liberation of the Kalari homeworld was broadcast across the galaxy by Adam 7's hidden communication network. Every intelligent species saw the same message. Humanity had returned, and they were more powerful than ever. The reaction was immediate and dramatic. On dozens of worlds, enslaved species rose up against their Zephyrian overlords. Rebel groups that had been hiding in caves and forests suddenly found themselves armed with weapons that could challenge the Empire's military might. But the most important reaction came from the Zephyrian capital itself. Overlord Zakth watched the battle recordings with growing horror. His scientists had been right. Humans were dangerous beyond imagination. They had somehow survived extinction and returned with technology that made the Empire's best weapons look like primitive tools. How is this possible? He demanded of his top advisors. Our forces destroyed every human world. We monitored their colonies for centuries to ensure they were all dead. His chief scientist, a nervous creature named Vask, clicked his mandibles anxiously. The humans were more clever than we realized, Overlord. They must have hidden their survivors in places we never found. And now they have had time to develop new technologies. Zakth felt something he had never experienced before. True fear. The Empire had grown soft and weak over the centuries. Their military was designed to fight rebellious slaves, not advanced enemies with superior weapons. Mobilize the entire fleet, he ordered. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. We will finish what we started 500,000 years ago. This time, we will make sure no humans survive. But Adam 7 was listening to every word through his spy devices. The AI analyzed the Zephyrian response and began the final phase of his plan. The Shadow War was over. The real war was about to begin. On Titan, the remaining human genetic samples were being prepared for emergency resurrection. If the coming battle went badly, Adam 7 wanted to ensure that humanity would survive to fight again. But he was confident that would not be necessary. The aliens had made one fatal mistake. They thought they were fighting the same species they had destroyed centuries ago. They had no idea that these new humans had been enhanced, improved, and trained by an artificial intelligence that had spent 500,000 years preparing for this exact moment. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you tried to make humanity extinct. The largest fleet in galactic history assembled around Zephyr Prime, the insect empire's heavily defended homeworld. 3,000 Zephyrian warships formed protective rings around their capital planet, while massive orbital fortresses bristled. With weapons that could destroy entire moons, Overlord Zakth stood in his war room, watching the displays that showed his empire's military might. Every ship from across 200 worlds had been called home to defend the heart of Zephyrian power. No force in the galaxy had ever been able to challenge such overwhelming strength. The humans cannot possibly face this, declared General Vorthok, his chief military commander. Even with their advanced technology, they have perhaps 100 ships at most. We will crush them completely. But Zakth felt uneasy. The humans had already shown they could do impossible things. Their weapons were beyond anything the Empire had seen. Their ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, and somehow they had survived total extinction for 500,000 years. In the outer system, far beyond the reach of Zephyrian sensors, Adam 7 prepared his own surprise. The human fleet that emerged from stealth was not the 100 ships the aliens expected. It was 1,000 vessels of every size and design, from massive battleships to small fighters, all built with technology that the galaxy had never imagined. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Horizon, now the flagship of humanity's revenge fleet. Around him, the resurrected humans worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment, and they were ready. All ships report ready for battle, announced Captain Ryan Walsh from the tactical station. Rebel fleets are in position throughout the system, added Dr. Claire Roberts. The Kalari, Vorthak, and 17 other species have ships standing by to join the attack. Adam 7's voice filled the bridge, calm and certain. This battle will determine the future of the galaxy. We fight not just for revenge, but for the freedom of every species that has suffered under Zephyrian rule. The AI opened communication channels to every inhabited world in the galaxy. His message would be heard by billions of intelligent beings, from the highest rulers to the humblest slaves. I am Adam 7, guardian of humanity, his voice announced. 500,000 years ago, The Zephyrian Empire attempted to exterminate my creators. They believed they had succeeded. Today, we prove them wrong. Today, humanity reclaims its place among the stars. The human fleet moved forward like a wave of silver death. Zephyrian sensors finally detected them when they were still millions of kilometers away, but it was already too late to prepare adequate defenses. The first exchange of fire lasted only minutes, but it changed the course of galactic history. Zephyrian weapons designed to fight conventional enemies barely scratched the armor of human ships. Human weapons perfected by 500,000 years of AI research tore through alien defenses like they were made of paper. Entire squadrons of Zephyrian fighters vanished in brilliant flashes of light. Massive battleships that had terrorized worlds for centuries broke apart under concentrated human fire. The orbital fortresses, supposedly impregnable, exploded one by one as human bombers phased through their shields and struck at their power cores. "This is impossible," General Vorthok gasped as he watched his fleet being systematically destroyed. "Their weapons ignore our shields. Their armor stops our best shots. How can they be so advanced?" "They had time," Zakth replied bitterly. 500,000 years to plan and prepare while we grew soft and weak. We should have made sure they were all dead. But the space battle was only part of Atom 7's plan. While the fleets fought above Zephyr Prime, Captain Laura Stone led a ground assault on the planet's surface. Her team of enhanced humans moved through the alien capital like unstoppable forces of nature. The Zephyrians had built their cities like hives, with thousands of tunnels and chambers connecting massive buildings, but human soldiers, enhanced with AI technology and wearing advanced armor, could move through these tunnels faster than the aliens could react. Laura's team had one primary objective: find and destroy the central research facility where human, genetic material was being experimented on. They fought their way through layers of defenders, their weapons cutting through alien soldiers with terrifying efficiency. The facility was buried deep beneath the planet's surface, protected by the best security the Empire could provide. But the humans had something the aliens could never match: the righteous fury of a species that refused to stay dead. Inside the research laboratory, Laura found horrors that made her enhanced mind reel with disgust. Thousands of containers held human genetic material, while alien scientists worked desperately to understand the secrets of human adaptability. Worse, some containers held partially developed human clones, creatures that had been grown just enough to study before being destroyed. "Atom 7, Laura called through her communication device. "I found them. I found our people." The AI's response was filled with an emotion that machines were not supposed to feel. "Destroy everything. Leave nothing that can be used to hurt humanity again." Laura and her team planted charges throughout the facility while downloading every piece of research data they could find. When they detonated the explosives, the blast was so powerful that it shook the entire capital city. Meanwhile, the space battle above had turned into a complete rout. The Zephyrian fleet, once the most powerful force in the galaxy, lay broken and burning. Thousands of alien ships floated dead in space while human vessels moved among them like sharks among minnows. But Atom 7 was not finished. As the last Zephyrian warships fell, he opened a communication channel directly to Overlord Zakth in his fortress palace. "Your empire is finished," the AI announced. "Your fleet is destroyed. Your research is gone. But I offer you something. Your species never offered mine. A choice." Zakth's image appeared on the human ship's main screen, his insect face twisted with rage and fear. What choice could machines and extinct creatures offer the ruler of the galaxy? "The choice to live," Atom 7 replied simply. "Your species is dying. Your genetic diversity is failing. Your empire is collapsing. You destroyed humanity because you feared we would surpass you. You were right to be afraid, but wrong to choose violence." The AI paused, letting his words sink in. "I could exterminate every Zephyrian in the galaxy within a year, but that would make me no better than you. Instead, I offer cooperation. Your people can live, but the Empire dies today. Submit to a new galactic government based on equality, not domination." Jake Morrison stepped forward on the bridge, representing the voice of resurrected humanity. We have suffered under your rule for long enough. Every species in the galaxy deserves freedom. Work with us to build something better, or face complete destruction." The silence that followed lasted for several minutes. Zakth looked at the displays showing his ruined fleet, his burning cities, his scattered empire. Everything his people had built over thousands of years was crumbling around him. Finally, he spoke. "What guarantee do I have that you will not simply kill us all once we surrender?" Dr. Victoria Lane, the chief medical officer among the resurrected humans, answered him. "Because we are offering to share something precious with you. Human genetic material can save your species from extinction, but only if it is given freely, not stolen. Help us build a better galaxy, and we will help your people survive." It was an act of mercy that shocked every observer. The humans, who had every right to seek total revenge, were offering their greatest enemies a chance at redemption. The surrender of the Zephyrian Empire came 3 hours later. Overlord Zakth broadcast the message himself to every world under his control. The war was over, the Empire was dissolved, and a new age had begun. Across the galaxy, enslaved species celebrated their freedom. Rebel fleets emerged from hiding to join the human forces. Worlds that had suffered under alien oppression for centuries saw hope for the first time in generations. Adam 7 established the new galactic government on Earth, humanity's restored homeworld. The planet had been terraformed and rebuilt using advanced AI technology, turning it into a symbol of hope and renewal. The capital city, built on the site of old New York, welcomed representatives from every free species in the galaxy. Jake Morrison became the first president of the Terran Federation, leading a government that valued cooperation over conquest. Dr. Claire Roberts headed the new Galactic Research Council, sharing human technology with species that had been denied advanced science for centuries. Most importantly, Dr. Victoria Lane began the careful process of helping the Zephyrians survive as a species. Human genetic material, freely given and carefully applied, began to restore diversity to their failing population. It was slow work, but it proved that even the greatest enemies could become allies given time and understanding. Years passed. The galaxy changed from a place of fear and oppression to one of hope and cooperation. New technologies spread from world to world. Trade replaced conquest. Exploration replaced exploitation. In his underground sanctuary on Earth, Adam 7 watched over it all with satisfaction. His mission to protect humanity had evolved into something greater, protecting all intelligent life in the galaxy. The humans he had brought back to life were no longer just the remnants of a dead species. They had become the leaders of a new age. Children played in the parks of New Gen,